Hello, my name is Andrew Hill. I'm first year engineer and I live down on Parsons Field. It's pretty standard, you know what's going on. But first of all, why I think I'll be good at doing the role of SRO. I think firstly, most importantly, I've been a junior returning officer this year, just gone, which means I've been working with Millie, under Millie, and being described as Millie Bitch by various people. Absolutely how it works. So I know exactly what the role of SRO entails. I know what would be expected of me, the kind of things I'd have to do. And it also means that I've had an introduction to the processes and the things that physically have to be done, so whether that just be form filling out, but probably slightly more importantly, the electronic voting system, D-Vote. I've really kind of had a go at teaching me how to do that. So I've already got an experience of how that works, so I feel that kind of with the day-to-day running of elections, I've already got plenty of experience of that and kind of know what's going on. Also, having been JRO for the past year means that I've been sat on standing committee for the previous year, which is the other main part of this role. You know, standing committee is quite confusing. They do a lot of technical talk and kind of, it's just quite difficult to follow. So the fact that I've been on it for a year means I've kind of already part of it. I know what's going on. I know what needs to be done. Yeah. And also means that this past year we redrafted the election rules, and I was part of the process of doing that. So, you know, when it comes to kind of knowing vaguely what they're about, given the fact that I helped write them, you know, I know them reasonably well. And also, finally, I feel that I'm reasonably confident at doing this part of the meeting, which Millie's running, as well as chairing standing com, which is something that you have to do. So, if I was elected, what would I do? Ultimately, I'd continue to promote the elections in the way that they are now. Through Facebook, through emails, through all sorts of things, but specifically the few things I want to do. I want to target freshers, mainly, particularly the first meeting of the year, because there are loads of really appropriate roles for them, so there's an opportunity for them to get involved in the JCR without overburdening them with some ridiculous role. Great opportunity to do that is the moment during Freshers Week when all the JCR exec stand up and go, hello, I'm whoever and I do this. And I seem to remember Millie being part of that lineup. I hope you were. So I definitely try and use my brief plug in that to try and get them to encourage them to come along to the meeting and get involved, because there's loads of appropriate roles for them. I'd also like to try and specifically promote live-in positions. This is one we've had this year, but I recognise it's quite a hard thing to do, to get people to go live in. And I know next year's Livers Out rep has said that, said in her Hust, that she wanted to try and kind of make people realise that living in is an option, not necessarily overtly promote it, but kind of make people realise it's an option, and hopefully I'll be an opportunity to work with her in that. So we have more people living in, so we've got a bigger pool of people who potentially could go for living positions, because the big problem we currently have is people sign houses and just can't live in. The other thing that I would do is do something that was discussed in standing committee this year, was the election calendar. It's basically a thing that says when all the elections are, and it was discussed this year, the idea of getting that made into a big poster with what all the positions are, who's currently got the role, what it involves, and when it's elected on. 2 big copies of that must be in each JCR. Great advantage of that is it means that everybody knows what's going on when, and so it's an opportunity for freshers, secretaries, everybody to see what all the opportunities are available, and also who they need to speak to get, you know, who they need to speak to about what the role's about, and also how to run for the role. I say that's something that has been talked about, and I believe the version's been done for this year. So I'd like to update that and ensure it does get published in time for Freshers Week next year. The other thing which I'd like to try and push through, well, I say push through, make sure we've done, that was discussed in standing comms, the issue of sports and society's elections. I do love a bit of governance. I know it's hard to admit, but I found I quite enjoyed it over the past year, which is slightly worrying me. Basically, according to our charitable aims, we have to be free and fair, and there has been a concern raised that not all sports and societies are. Excellent, I'll get back in there. And basically, discussing standing committee needs some kind of system to ensure that everyone on execs of all sports societies is elected properly. I want to make sure that standing com actually does something to ensure it happens. Basically, I just want to make sure that all things standing com talk about and say we might do, we actually go through and do. Ultimately, to conclude, I've spent the last academic year as understudy to this role, so I know what it's about, I know what's expected of me, which means I've had an introduction to all parts of the role, so I know just about how to do most of it. I'd like to continue to promote all elections in the ways they are now, particularly to freshers and the live-in roles, and as I say, try and follow through some of the plans which are laid down in standing com. Ultimately, all this doesn't sound overly revolutionary, but that's because it doesn't really need to be, because like we already do so much so well in the election fund, it's just about continuing it through. Thank you. Cool. Thank you.